You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. We have a special guest in the building. I don't think his team made it.
Hold on, y'all not about to introduce me like that. I don't think his team made it. I never heard.
beat his team this year.
What are y'all doing?
His team didn't make the playoffs.
Wait a minute, Angela, thank you. Can I get my name? I was like, I've never in the history of The Breakfast Club, I never heard the introduction. Yeah, his team sucks. What are y'all? What is happening right now?
There with their mouths open, ready to jump in.
Yo, Packer, ladies and gentlemen.
Yo, what's happening?
What's happening, my brother?
Now let's talk about your bum-ass team.
I appreciate it. Yo, wait, hold on. First of all, you got on the Giants jersey, bro.
Exactly.
Your team
Please remind them.
Yo, they went on vacation before the playoffs started. They was down in South Beach. Yo, Odell Beckham caught everything down in South Beach, didn't he?
With a fishing pole.
He caught it all. He brought the rod with him. He caught nothing when it counted.
No, all right, enough. All
okay,
right?
but hold on.
Now it's
Let
enough.
me tell you. But can I tell you this, though?
What?
I'm going to get off of you. You know who I'm going to get on now?
Why?
I'm going to get on my brother right here. You
The
know
Cowboys
why?
fan? Why?
Because he about to get that ass kicked next week.
Not true.
Yeah, let me tell you why. You wish that the Giants had come down to Texas Stadium.
Nope.
Because they beat y'all twice. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row. That was y'all's best chance. You don't want to see this fire-hot Aaron Rodgers coming down here. That man cannot lose right now. That's the worst thing that could have happened to
we
y'all.
beat the Packers this year 30-16, right?
Bro, everybody beat the Packers back in the day before Aaron Rodgers stood up, put on his big boy pants, and said, we will not lose again.
Listen, you
and
should be
he
rooting for the
hasn't
Cowboys.
lost.
You got a house full of Cowboy fans.
Yeah, you ain't lying. You
Your
ain't
wife a
lying.
Cowboy fan.
Listen, this
Your
is
wife, your son.
I know. My wife ain't around so I can talk trash. That's it.
Do you guys ever get into like this?
I'm about to go back to Atlanta and throw on that Dak Prescott jersey so strong.
Does the argument ever get too real when you guys talk about football?
Yo, yeah, because my wife is super passionate. My wife and I got my sons are both Cowboys fans. I don't know I don't know how they got into
Smart
that
people.
cult.
Listen,
you
your
know
children
nobody
are
likes y'all.
your
You
children
do
are supposed to
know
be
that,
better
right?
than you.
You know,
Okay, and they are.
Y'all do realize nobody likes y'all? Is that like? Do you embrace that? Do you
Yes.
like? Oh, okay, we cool. We know nobody likes
That's
us,
right.
or are y'all aware?
We're like the 46 million people who voted for Donald Trump. We're our own entity, okay?
Now, if the Patriots play the Cowboys in the Super Bowl, what team do you root for? Or do you just sit in the corner like me?
Nah, you gotta go Cowboys. Come on now. I mean, as
don't like both
much
of them,
as I
though.
don't like the Cowboys, but come on, dog. Come on, really?
I don't like any.
Belichick, Brady. Brady really is a Trump
supporter.
supporter. I mean, come on.
Right.
Come on.
I guess you're right.
At a certain point, you just gotta, you know what I mean?
So you're gonna come
it's
out
the
the
lesser
corner?
of two evils.
I'm still staying in the corner. I'm still wearing my Giants jersey to the
you
Super Bowl.
can't get another one for the Patriots? Come on. What kind of America will we really live in then?
Yeah.
And no need for everybody in your house to be depressed. You know what I'm saying? Let the wife and the son be happy.
That's true.
Okay?
Yo, what about ATL though? You know, I live in Atlanta, so them Falcons look good. Like for real. I'm just saying.
I'm not scared of them.
Okay, listen, and y'all got a tough.
They're
road.
gonna beat the Seahawks, though.
I think so.
Yeah.
And if you get past the Packers, right, y'all will have gotten y'all's ass whooped. Like it will be a tough game.
I don't think so. I think we beat the Packers by 2 touchdowns.
Aaron Rodgers?
Yes.
All right, we're going to play this back
All
after
right.
that.
Please do.
And just to see
Please.
who
He
was
just
right and who
said
was wrong.
they
We're
beat the
gonna play this
Packers
back.
by 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
I
That ain't gonna
incredulously said Aaron Rodgers, so play that back, and we'll see. One of us gonna look real stupid on Monday.
Now let's
What's
talk.
happening, y'all? I
Let's talk
appreciate
some
y'all
TV,
having me,
man.
family. Yeah.
You're the new executive producer of Being Mary Jane.
Dear Mary Jane is back.
What made
Now
you
tell
take
us
that
how
I thought
project
Being Mary
on?
Jane was gone. It's back, y'all.
No,
Hey,
we
it
love
ain't
that show.
gone.
And tell us how that happened. I know you and Gabrielle Union have a great history working with each
Did they
other.
pay her money?
That they did.
Okay.
They did. Yep.
But so was she involved with getting you on, or
It was
just,
because of her. It was strictly because of Gab. G hit me. The last the show creator and executive producer Mara Brock Akil went on and took a deal at Warner Brothers. And so they needed somebody to come in and produce the show. And Gab called me. She hit me up. And I had watched the show, but I wasn't like, I hadn't watched every episode. I hadn't watched. So I knew about the show. I knew of it. And so she came to Crib in Atlanta. We sat down. We watched like all the first 3 seasons, like just back like 8, 10 hours, just TV, just watch the whole thing. And she was like, here's what I'm thinking. Here's where I wanted to go. I was like, I'm in.
You got time to do that?
I mean, the thing is, I don't write the show.
Okay.
So I had to go out and get somebody to actually, people are like, oh, so you the new Mara Brock Akil? No, I'm not. Like, I went on and got a super talented sister. Her name is Erica Shelton, and she wrote The Good Wife. I don't know if y'all remember that show, The Good Wife.
My wife loves
so she
it.
was one of the major writers on that show. We brought her over to write the show. So she's writing every episode. So my job is to put it together, oversee it, you know what I'm saying? Make sure that things go well. You know, there was the little issue with her and the
money
network.
situation, right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But they worked it out. They worked it out. The show's back on the air and it's real.
Now,
It airs tonight.
Now, do you feel like you have to make a movie or a TV show to make white people feel good?
What does that mean? What do you mean? What do you,
Set it up. Tell them what
He's talking about Lee Daniels said in an interview. He's talking about his show Star.
Nah, I don't at all.
And he said that comment and people were upset about it, clearly.
But I don't know. Was he saying that? I caught it. It was on the reel, right?
Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
like I caught it out of context. So I can't really. What I heard was that he felt like having a white lead was good for race relations or something like that.
Right, he has since said he
Later
tried to
on he said
explain
that,
what he
right.
meant, having different representations of all different people
The country needed healing, he
for
said.
some unity.
Yeah, I view it differently. So for me, I love the fact that I can make content that hopefully is good. I put a team together that makes the best content, hopefully, right? And as long as that content is true, authentic, organic, represents, a real slice of life, that's all I really care about. So it's not about, how do I placate or pander or make it palatable to certain people. No, it's really about, let's do it right. Let's do it good. Let's just be what it really is, Golden Globes this weekend, Atlanta won, big awards. I love that. Donald Glover. Tracy Ellis Ross. Like, I just love the fact, but I brought up Atlanta because that show to me, like, it's a particular slice of life of real people in that particular world. Like, I love that. And they're not trying to, pander to anybody. Right. And I think the best content, here's the thing, these days, people got so many options. They can watch anything, and whatever you into, whatever you want to see, somebody's out there making it for you, right?
Absolutely.
So you got to be good now. Like, people like me, like, we can't just put stuff out there and be like, yo, we got, a bunch of Latinos in it, so that audience is going to come. Nah, you got to be real, you got to be true, you got to be good.
What you're saying is interesting because if I'm the Hollywood Foreign Press, I've seen everything, except probably for this particular side of life. So what Donald Glover did was show them something that we see all the time.
That's right.
But they don't see on the regular.
That's right. Or even in a different way. Look at Moonlight.
Yeah.
Anybody that's listening that hasn't seen Moonlight, go out and see it. It's incredibly made, but it also deals with subject matter that you don't see black people in. You don't see like
what?
a
I
true
haven't seen it.
coming
Like
of
what?
age story. What's about a young man, exploring and finding his sexuality,
Right.
and you don't see that as a young black man. Like I've probably seen that movie a few times with a young white guy, right? But as a young black guy growing up, in the hood of Miami, exploring his sexuality, like, who makes that?
Right.
Where have you seen that?
But it happens in real life. We just
Of
don't
course,
see it
absolutely.
on the screen.
And so it's standing out more. I love that. I just think it's a good time for for people like myself that are making movies and television. So,
Now, we were talking about the Golden Globes and the whole Hidden Figures. They kept calling it Hidden Fences. Did you think that was on purpose, or do you think that was an honest mistake?
It's not. Well, here's the thing. It's not about whether it's on purpose or not. It is just about, you have to. I work in the industry, so I'm very sensitive to any time we're marginalized and any attempt to marginalize us. It doesn't have to be intentional. The point is that if you're not going the extra mile to make sure that you are representing and referring to the movies that happen to be two of the high-profile movies that star African Americans.
Very high profile.
If you're not going out of your way to make sure you do it right, because you definitely are when you've got a Brad Pitt movie and a Leonardo DiCaprio movie, you're going to get those right because you're very in tune with it and you know exactly. You need to do the same thing. It's a way of marginalizing us. So it's not okay, that person intentionally did it for this reason. It doesn't matter. You did it, and it's wrong. Like, no.
You think it was a teleprompter thing? Like, they just reading off the teleprompter?
No. That's live TV.
It wasn't the prompter when Keaton was on, but even so, that's even worse.
The prompter literally said hidden
It had to, because he was reading right off the prompter. At first, I thought it was just a mistake by the young lady when she was
That's
talking to
even
Pharrell.
worse. Yeah.
But the second one with Keaton,
Jenna Bush, I think that was live TV moment. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That she made a mistake. She apologized for it. And,
but Michael Keaton did it again. I'm
that's
like,
awful.
he's reading off
It's
the prompter.
awful. It's all. I mean, if y'all gotta understand, man. These people, we work so hard for these movies, so hard. Somebody literally, like, I remember when Hidden Figures was being shopped as a book years ago, and people were trying to get that book made. And so we go out and we dedicate, like, 5, 6, 7, 8 years of our lives to get these projects made. Sometimes they're amazing, sometimes they're not. Doesn't matter. Just because a movie sucks, people still really kill themselves. Like when y'all go see a movie, y'all like, man, who made that trash? Somebody bust their ass to make that trash, right? So when you make a movie and it's good and people are going to see it and it's got critical acclaim, and then for somebody to stand up when you got your big platform and they go, yeah, Hidden Fences. It's like, are you serious?
Yeah, ain't nobody saying La La Jenkins
Exactly.
or Moonlight by the Sea.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to be. Do you a lot of black? You're a guy who had a lot of success in Hollywood. Do you still experience like those subtle acts of racism?
You know what's interesting about Hollywood? Yeah. Hollywood is the most liberal, well-meaning, good old boys club. It is the most. I wouldn't call it racist. Chris Rock did his thing at the Oscars and he said it's like a fraternity, you know what I mean? It's like they're like sorority racists, So it's like, you're good, but you're just not Kappa good or whatever his reference, if you guys saw that. That is very apropos because it is like nobody gives more money to to causes that benefit black and brown people than Hollywood. Nobody supports liberal causes, and supporting disenfranchised people than Hollywood. But
Sean Penn had that whole big event for Haiti right before.
Absolutely.
The Golden Globes.
But when you go and look in the executive suites, the people that are actually making the decisions and actually control the money, none of them look like any of us.
Right.
Let me tell you that now. When I'm in a room, whatever it is, I'm pitching or I'm talking about my products, I'm the only person. Unless it's somebody that I hire, that I bring in, then I'm the only black person in those rooms.
Do you feel like that's
Hollywood.
Changing at all?
It's definitely changing in front of the camera. Like we talked about some projects now that are out there getting shine, but it still has a long way to go behind the scenes. That's the reality of it. It's a process.
Now, Nate Parker's movie, it didn't do as well as expected. Does that hurt when trying to do other films and other African-American films?
No question. But I tell you what helps, though, Hidden Figures. Hidden Figures, #1 at the box office. I think the final numbers came in. I think it was #1.
It was tied.
It was tied.
They said it was tied with the Rogue or something.
Rogue One.
Rogue One.
Did you say the Rogue or something? You mean the biggest Star Wars franchise in the... Really?
I'm getting them back for saying Hidden
Cowboys
Fences.
fans.
I'm getting them back for saying Hidden Fences.
It don't work like that. Star Wars, Star Trek. It don't work like that. It's like 10 billion later. But yeah. So absolutely. Because what happens is you come in a room and now you say, yeah, you know what? It's kind of like a Birth of a Nation. They go, yeah, okay, yeah. But then when you come in and say, no, it's like a Hidden Figures, they go, oh, okay. Because that worked. Because really who runs Hollywood are the accountants, the bean counters, the people who actually look at the bottom line and the numbers, right? And so anytime you can come in and show that your project has commercial viability, the chance of it getting made are a lot better.
So do you think it'll hurt future black liberation movies though?
No, you mean Birth of a Nation? That was a very specific situation. I mean, it was Nate and that whole situation that surrounded him, and so the movie. The success of the movie became about him. It wasn't about the movie.
Totally unfair.
People know that. People know what that is.
Totally unfair, especially when Roman Polanski has won Oscars. You see Casey Affleck sitting up in the Golden Globes last night cooling. I think it's totally unfair what happened to Nate Parker.
I hear you. I mean, listen, it's one of those things where you have a lot of people who cannot separate the art from the artist. And I understand that. I do. I really, really do. Working in the industry, I have to separate the art from the artist because I have to work with all kind of people. If y'all knew everything that I know about your favorites, you would watch nothing. You know what I mean?
Do you do background checks?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, you do work with, part of the reason it's a good old boys club is because you work with people you work with people you like. So you do know, like, as people come in, like, if they had a reputation for being awful on set or being hard to deal with, you can make, judgments based on that.
But not on their personal life. You're saying you don't really.
I'm just saying that these are real people in Hollywood, and so if you went into any industry and just started really digging into the past of people, you would find dentists and stockbrokers and lawyers and all of that you may be surprised about things that are in their past. And
like
so,
Woody Allen. Woody Allen never really. I don't know. Did his career suffer from?
No.
Hollywood is littered with people, a lot of them white, who have had questionable situations in their past that have gone on to have successful careers, and I wish the best for Nate.
Richard Gere had gerbils going in and out of his asshole.
That wasn't confirmed. I don't know.
Allegedly.
I think that's a rumor.
Allegedly.
And I don't know that would hurt really.
It might hurt.
Okay.
Back then it hurt. I don't know. Today it makes you interested. Back then it was a thing. You know what I'm saying? Today it makes you stand out.
Now, do you have a passion project that you've always wanted to get done, or a story that you feel like this story needs to be told that you haven't?
Several of them. So I mean, as a producer, I'm in a fortunate position where a lot of people bring stuff to me. I do a lot of research, do a lot of reading, and so I have several of them. But the nature of the beast is that you can't really talk about your passion project.
Someone snatch it up.
You know what I'm saying? Because these days, you know, it's interesting. Like a lot of times when you guys see, you know how they do the music biopics on like, you know, a Lifetime of VH1 or those types of things.
Trash.
Well, but a lot of times, sometimes the artists are involved, sometimes they're not. And so, you know, like I just got a call from an artist to ask me to help get their project off the ground, but one of these type of TV movies is being done unauthorized about them. And I was like, yo, as long as they don't do theirs first, because once it's done, once it's out there, it's going to be hard to Aaliyah is another example, right?
Trash.
Barry Hankerson called me, actually, true story. We were going to take that into Universal. He came, the Aaliyah story. I was like, you know what? I could see that being a theatrical, you know, on the level of a Ray or, you know, a big theatrical music biopic. And the network beat him to it and did it unauthorized and got, you know, some of the music rights and put it out there. Well, now that story's been told. You know, it's not to say it can't be told again, but a studio's not going to spend $20 million to tell it when people were able to go home and watch it for free on TV. Yeah. So, you know, it's
How do you do that? How can you just make an unauthorized movie of somebody?
Clearance, use names and stuff.
Unless when you're a public figure, unless I come out and I do something and you can prove that I completely fabricated it, which, you know.
It's hard to prove.
Yeah, but on the TLC story,
that was a good one.
Pebbles, I believe that's still in litigation. I'm not 100% sure. But the point is, she didn't authorize that, but they can portray her, you know, because she was a public figure.
And they could tell their stories and what happened on their behalf.
Absolutely. I can go out right now and make a movie about my Breakfast Club interview. You know what I mean? And I'm going to have somebody ask, is you. And now, unless literally in there I have like Charlamagne in the corner, you know, killing some kids, then they're going to say, well, were you interviewing? Were you sitting there? Yeah, you're going, yeah, but I didn't say the things he said. I said, yeah, but. You know what I mean? That's where it gets gray, and it's hard for you to stop that.
And you could write a book about anybody, and then somebody can make that book into a movie.
You can.
Did you see the New Edition series yet?
I have seen the first hour. It's good. Because what happens is Mary Jane starts tonight. No, I'm not on it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not on it. No, I'm not doing everything Black Charlamagne. Don't do that. I didn't make Hidden Fences. Don't do that. But it's so Being Mary Jane airs tonight, right? And then it airs next week, and then we go on a hiatus, and the New Edition movie airs. And the New Edition movie is going to air in 3 parts, 3 nights back to back, and then we come back after that.
Okay.
So
that's our generation's roots. I'm sitting there with my daughter. We're going to watch that
you gotta
for
watch
3
the
days.
Edition. Yeah, absolutely.
Kevin Hart was one of those artists that you really helped his career, really pushed his career.
Absolutely. Listen, man, there's before Will Packer Kevin Hart and after Will Packer Kevin Hart. You tell him I said that. Now, that's my guy. He knows it. Yeah, absolutely. Kevin Hart is somebody that, it's funny, when I first was out talking about Kevin Hart, people were like, and I want people to listen to this because I know a lot of people can relate to it. People were like, we know Kevin Hart.
Yeah, where did you see him?
You know what? I knew about Kevin Hart because my son had all his DVDs on bootleg. That's what happened. Like I knew of him. I knew, you know, Soul Plane. I knew, the short guy, the comedian. He was like, all right, he's all right.
You got to get your son a great present.
Yo, but then my son and his friends couldn't get enough. They kept playing these movies. They kept playing on bootleg, on YouTube. And like Kevin Hart was getting hot in the streets well before Hollywood knew anything about it. That's when I then took him and started pitching him on that Thing Like a Man project. People literally told me Kevin Hart's not a star. They're like, nah, he's been around. He doesn't have the star stature. He doesn't have the star look. Like, we give us somebody fresh or new or big or, you know. And literally, people were not excited about Kevin Hart when I took him out there, but they didn't know how he went out and made his own heat in the street. So that's just something like people listening now, whatever industry you're trying to get in, doesn't have to be entertainment. If you go out and make your own heat, you go out and become successful on your own without the industry, that is the quickest way to get other people's attention. That's exactly what Kevin
So I was going to ask, who's the next Kevin Hart?
Man.
Who's the next person you're working with, the next person you see?
We got to ask your son.
You know what? Yeah, exactly.
I saw somebody you cast lately I think could be it.
DC?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Yeah,
DC Young
definitely.
Fly.
DC Young Fly. Shout out to the young homie down there in Atlanta. I put him in the Almost Christmas movie that just came out, if y'all saw that. Yeah, you know what? DC's somebody that, grinding on his own, grinding out there, using social media. You know, he didn't have a big platform or anything. I went to see him, do stand-up in Atlanta. It wasn't even like a packed venue. He didn't know I was coming. He didn't know I was going to be there, and he killed it. Now, he could have, dialed that in, phoned it in and not going hard because he wasn't getting paid a lot of money or whatever, but he went hard at that show with however many people was there, and he happened to have a producer in the audience who was about to cast a movie. And I saw him, I said, I'm putting you in your movie. I'm going to have you on billboards. He said, man, stop lying. You lying. You know what I'm saying? You got the full Chris Tucker thing going on. But nah, he's real. I think he's definitely somebody.
And that's good advice.
Is he ready
That's
for a
why
lead, though?
Well, I mean, I think that in my position, what I try to do is position people to win and get bigger and get to the point where people will want to see them on their own. So I think that he definitely will be a lead someday, but I think that, Kevin Hart 10 years ago wasn't really ready for a lead. Soul Plane didn't work. That's not just his fault, obviously, but I'm saying that I don't think people just flock to that movie because of him. Now they will, but it's because they start to see you. I mean, Think Like a Man was a great ensemble, but that was the one that people kind of started seeing him in a different light, not just the bootleg comedian guy. Oh, snap, he's in real movies.
Gotcha.
Another one you got that I think is next, even though she's been around for a while, Tiffany Haddish.
Oh, let me tell you something.
You got her in Girl Trip.
Yo, I got this new movie coming out, Girls Trip, man. It's
That's on Queen
dropping.
Latifah?
Queen Latifah, Jada Pinkett, Regina Hall, and Tiffany
Exciting.
Haddish. And
Tiffany is hilarious.
It's about 4 women who take a trip to the Essence Music Festival in New Orleans. It's hard R. I mean, think like Chocolate Hangover with bridesmaids sprinkled in. Like, they go ham. It's crazy. And Tiffany Haddish literally, the analogy that people in Hollywood are making is this is her Melissa McCarthy and Bridesmaids moment.
Wow.
So remember, y'all heard it right here. Tiffany Haddish. You may not know the name. She's on the Carmichael Show on NBC.
When does that come out?
It comes out in July. Yep.
Essence Festival
July
is July,
21st.
right?
Yeah, that's
July
Essence
21st.
Festival is right before
y'all
that.
dropping
Essence
Essence weekend?
is Essence Week. We're going to premiere it at Essence. That's
dope.
4th of July weekend.
Yep.
Then
I'll
a
be
couple
down
weeks
there.
later, we're going nationwide.
Wow.
That's dope because that's real life. Like, a lot of people do
What?
put together those Essence festivals.
Yo.
And
People have a
I'm not gonna
ball
lie,
down
I was
there.
at Essence Festival last year, and my friends from high school were like, "We all gonna come and hang out with you and party with you."
Yeah,
I go
and
every
it's,
year.
and
We go
it's
every
like
year.
it's really a girls trip movie. It's
Right.
like whether
Me
it's
and Emmy have a
Essence
girls trip
or
there every year.
every girls trip, but you never see the true girls trip movie
Right.
with sisters. You know what I'm saying?
right.
We get wild too. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
Essence Fest like a menopausal freaknik. That's what Essence Fest is like.
It's getting younger. They're skewing younger now.
They are.
Yeah, they're skewing younger.
You haven't been, so
You never been?
I've been before. Last
Yeah.
time I went was
Essence is a good time.
It was in Houston,
I
matter of
met
fact.
my wife at Essence.
there you go. That's why you have to
Really?
make this movie.
True story. True story. I
Did you
met my
trust
wife.
her?
Did I trust her?
Yeah.
What you mean?
After meeting her at Essence?
What do you mean? Essence, listen.
It's not a freak.
Essence,
It's not a freaknik, you
First
ass.
of all, Essence is like 70-30. So if you a single dude, you need to be at Essence.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
I had been married before, got a divorce, gone down to Essence to blow off some steam, right? And I actually
your
was
wild
there.
oats.
Whatever. Yo, true story. I go down to Essence with Idris Elba. All right,
Whoa.
Idris was hosting.
Okay.
Yeah, so I
Definitely
was
someone
just
you'll
the
be real.
residual was
Right.
about to be
Yeah,
lit.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Whatever you don't want.
What? Absolutely. So I go down there. He was hosting this boat cruise. Then it's one of those where it's like he was going on. He had to say hey for a couple minutes, then get off before the boat
Boat took
actually
off.
went off from the right. So he's on. He's about to leave, and I had brought some other people, some of my FAMU people. Shout out to FAMU, but they was late, and I couldn't find him. And Driss was like, "Yo, I'm about to roll," and he was like, "Come with me." I was like, "Man,
I'm stuck on the boat.
I'm stuck
I got my
because I
peoples
left
on the
so
boat,
and so
right.
my people. I don't want to leave them, blah, blah, blah." He was like, "Are you sure? I'm off this boat, bro." I was like, "Man, let me stay." How about my wife? She was doing marketing for Coors Light, which was the sponsor. Her job was to come on, make sure the activation was correct, make sure everything was right, and
Yeah.
then get off. She couldn't find her girl. So we both end up stuck on this boat trying to get off. The boat pulls off. So we got 2 hours on this boat. It's a packed boat cruise. And out of everybody on there, I met her.
That's a movie in itself.
Dude.
Yeah, that's dope.
Does this happen in the
Dude.
movie?
I was gonna
Dude.
make that movie a lifetime.
Now, are you sure she wasn't looking for Idris and was just there?
She might have been. That might be true. I can't lie. And she a Cowboys fan. There's some shade in there. She might be shady. I don't know. Whatever.
back
It's
to what
worked
you
out.
said,
So far, so good.
Going back to what you said about DC Young Fly and how
Yeah,
he
man.
was performing, even though he didn't know you were in the audience and it
Yes.
wasn't that packed. I do think that's always good advice that whatever you do, put your best foot forward because you never know who's watching
No
you.
matter what you're doing, a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm doing this, but it's just until I get this going, until I can get in a position to see so and so. But people are watching. You never know who's watching you. You know what I mean? And my girl, shout out to Ernestine Johnson, she was like, hey, come check out this comedy troupe with this, we're doing like an open mic kind of thing with different comedians. I didn't know who was going to be there. I didn't know who was going to pop. You never know who's looking, who's watching. So even if you're not in the position where it's like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, you never know who's watching. Go hard. Give 110% today. Don't wait. What you waiting on? Go right now. I don't care what it is that you're doing. Go hard, because you never know. And the skills that you're developing right now, they're going to help you when you get to that position. You can't just turn it on because all of a sudden you got like the dream job. Nah, you got to be grinding the whole time so you can take advantage when you got the dream.
It's something to be said about you too, though, because you're still on the grind. If you went to this comedy show, a lot of people in your position wouldn't go to this comedy show.
It's in other people. Yeah. Nah. I got it. But that's one of the reasons why, like, even though I'm, in Hollywood and in LA, I still am in Atlanta. I still travel a lot. I got to go and have my finger on the pulse of real people, I think that's what makes me different than a lot of Hollywood producers. A lot of my peers are literally sitting in, ivory towers, offices out in Hollywood, and just, going to see what's trending on Twitter or getting reports from people. I got to be out and be in it and really see what's going on. That's what hopefully is going to give me the leg up with my competition.
You even do your Will Packer weekend.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I see everybody going to that.
The joint in the Bahamas, yeah. We have a good time. Yeah, it's sexy. Yes.
Everybody go down. That's like is that like an impromptu casting? Like you go, people say, I'm gonna go to this weekend and get in front of Will. And
it's something where I, my cast and folks I fool with come down. They can just be free. They can you know what I mean, be who they are. I went to the White House last week. It was Obama's last party. People were free. People were literally. It was so awesome because you had everybody there. Like, forget it. The list was crazy. Any A-lister, you name it, they were there. But it was literally like if you went to a Barack Obama house party.
Was it really Hennessy and chicken wings? I saw people tweeting that.
It was yes.
Wow.
Yes. It was what it was they at midnight they brought out chicken and waffles. And so literally I'm in there in the White House, right? Eating chicken and waffles. Like Usher put the grill in, you know what I'm saying? Wale was wildin', Jerry Seinfeld and Bradley Cooper was over there, chopping it up with Steve Harvey. It was like, Tyler Perry sipping Hennessy. Like, it was just such a free moment. Everybody was having their, they were just free. They were just having a good time. There was no cameras, no phones, no nothing. And it was like, I was literally looking at all those, old white presidents on the wall thing, and they want to jump off these pictures and lynch us right now. They are so mad about this.
You should have looked around and said, you know what, let me make sure I soak this in, because this is never going to happen this again.
That's what made it so amazing, especially knowing what's about to happen now. I guarantee you, that party, the final presidential party in the White House was probably 70% black,
Yeah.
Or color, I should say.
Yeah.
It was very colorful, very.
And chicken wings and Hennessy. Now it's going to be cheese.
Chicken wings and waffles.
Cheese.
Yeah,
now it's going to be cheese and water.
If that. If Trump can get 10% of the star power that was at that party, he's winning. But he won't. He won't get him because it was love. It was really people really the president was walking around, shaking hands, just chopping it up with people. I had met him before briefly, but I got to talk to him at this party and just chop it up. Michelle, they were just incredible. It was a good vibe. And it's one of those things where I remember when Barack got in and we was all like, yo, he the first black president. You know what I'm saying? We on a run now. We about to have a woman president. We about to have a Latino president. Now you look at it, you like, man, was that it? Yeah. In our lifetime, will we see it again?
Was it a novelty?
Right. Yeah. You wonder,
Now, you bringing back Car Wash?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I am. Actually, we got Car Wash. We're developing it for ABC right now.
So it'll be a TV show?
It's going to be a TV show, yep. And that'll be a chance for me to bring in some of that new talent that we're talking about. We're still going to have a musical element in it. Here's the thing. I think that some projects are ripe for a remake, are ripe to be done again, because you wonder what would that look like with today's talent, with today's styles. You know what I mean? And Car Wash is one of them, so I'm excited about that.
No, I meant to ask, Charlamagne and I get this a lot, even Angela Yee. Rappers, they see you in the street, they start rapping at you immediately. When you see people in the street, do they just start acting immediately? Like what?
Thank God, no.
No, they don't do that?
Nah, what I get is all the monologues in my DM. You know what I'm saying? That's the level I'm at. You know what I mean? Rappers and stars, they get the news in the DM. I get people, oh no, for well shout art thou. I get the bad DMs with people
you look at them though.
My people do, because listen, there's talent out there, and I don't discount people that are doing it on social media and doing it on non-traditional platforms at all. I really, really don't, because we talked about Kevin Hart. He wasn't making it happen in traditional ways, and we talked about DC. That's not so. I definitely have my folks look at it. It's just the reality of the business. I just get like 98% horrible stuff because everybody thinks they can act. You go up to anybody and ask them, "Can you act?" Like I got this producer, "Can you act?" 98% of the people are gonna say yes. It just are. What? Yes. And my child, I get more like, I got a child you got to meet, which makes it hard because you can't diss people kids. You know what I mean? And I'm at events and people had their kids there. You gotta, oh my gosh, they're so cute. Yeah,
I saw you online. You mentioned Hidden Figures. You was going hard for it. You was telling people use their economic power to make it number one.
That's right. And I have nothing to do with that movie. Yeah. Nothing. But the reality is that, if we have power that we don't realize, because the way Hollywood works is that they look and see what's successful, what has worked, and they duplicate it. Period. That's it. It's simple. So if you want to see more of a Hidden Figures, go see Hidden Figures. If you want to see more of, Almost Christmas, go see that.
Ride Along 3.
Hey, listen, Ride Along 2, because that was successful. That's why we're making Ride Along 3. Period, point blank. If people didn't go see Ride Along 2, it would be no question there would be no Ride Along 3. Same thing. I see people saying, how many Fast and Furious they gonna do till y'all stop coming?
That's it.
Straight up. It'll be Fast 79. Vin will be in that wheelchair, you know what I'm saying? And as long as y'all keep coming. So I just saw a movie like Hidden Figures, and I know how hard it is for me as a producer when I go in to get financing for a project and I say, it's an untold story and it's 3 black women, 3 black female mathematicians who were the backbone of NASA, in the 60s. Like, who's going to go see that? Who's the audience for that? That's what they're going to ask. But now I can point to a box office and say, this is the audience for that. This audience wants to see these types of projects. Right. They're starved for these types of stories that haven't been told.
Now, is blackness just a blur in Hollywood, or is it starting to become the main picture? Or is it still just a blur in the background?
Nah, I think that it is definitely in vogue more than it has been. Certainly during my career in Hollywood, black is cooler, is hipper, is more profitable to white studios than it has been, and it's up to people like me to take advantage of that. Now, whether they care about like a story about like Hidden Figures being told, or whether they think, well, that's just a way for us to make money, it's up to filmmakers like myself to take advantage of the opportunity and tell great stories, period. So I don't think it's a blur. I think now the world is just so much more diverse than it's ever been. It's just the reality. Like, regardless of who just won the White House, it is still the most diverse America that you've ever seen.
Even watching the Golden Globes made me realize, like, a lot of shows that I love and watch were nominated. Yeah. And I feel like sometimes that doesn't really happen.
A lot of times, because
Insecure was up there, Blackish,
Atlanta, and then Moonlight. I mean, you're right, because I remember growing up watching those shows. They were so boring.
Right, I didn't know any of the shows.
So
I never
white.
saw this.
You know what I mean? It was just like I was never gonna see any. Like, you might have the one like every now and then you'd have like Denzel in the crowd. They'd cut to him. Morgan Freeman would be on the side. But now you watch these shows and you see, you know what I mean, us. You know what I mean? You see black and brown people throughout.
Questlove DJing.
Right.
What about the movies that don't do well commercially? Because Moonlight hasn't done great commercially, but it seems to get so much critical acclaim.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you got to remember, a movie like that was made with critical acclaim in mind. You know, so, and it's not to say that it wasn't, movies like that, and that's whether they're black or white, a lot of times aren't made for a big budget. So commercial success doesn't have to be $100 million. But in our industry, oftentimes you will make a movie with an eye towards critical success and critical acclaim. And that's what's happening with Moonlight. And I'm hopeful that as people start to hear about it, when you let people like me on the show and I scream it out on the Breakfast Club, and people are like, man, what's Moonlight? What is that? And then they go and see it, it actually can go out and make some money. Right. But movies like that, the triumph of a movie like Moonlight is the fact that it was made. Whether it makes a dime, just the fact that that movie, you know, about a young black male exploring his sexuality in Dade County, you know, like, what? That's just not been done. So the fact that it got made, that's the win.
I was going to ask, do people go to movies like that anymore? Because I don't see people running to the theaters like that
like
anymore.
they used to. It's tough, man.
And it's got to be
tough.
hard with all these Amazon sticks that they're jailbreaking and people are seeing bootleg
Y'all
movies.
put them fire sticks down, man.
Right.
You know
And
what I'm
then
saying?
Netflix and
Somebody
chill at
watching Girls
home.
Trip right now. Yeah. You know
I
what?
love going to the movies, though. I'm not
How
going to
people
lie.
don't go that much?
The movies will always be there, but very, very soon it's going to be where you can watch movies in a theater or at home at the same legally at the same time. Like that's what it's coming to. But you're right. You hit it, man. It's right now people are not going to the movies like they used to just because they have so many options.
Right.
So, but the good thing about that is that for somebody like me, there's so many different avenues. You know what I mean? So like I make movies for the theaters. I got, Being Mary Jane dropping on BET. I'm doing a show for Amazon. I got a show for, Netflix. Like I can work with various different outlets, and there are a lot more outlets than ever before. So wherever you watching it, it's my job to make something that you can watch wherever you want to watch.
Why you think Uncle Buck didn't work, man?
It's the reality is that it kind of got caught up in network politics, and it was a project that one studio produced for another network, and without getting too complex, the finances of it made it tricky. So it was a very successful summer show on ABC, the most successful summer show in years on that network. But that network didn't own the show, frankly. Universal owned the show, and they had to split profits with ABC. And because of what Envy is saying, you've got so much segregation of audiences and fragmentation of audiences, I should say. And so now the profit margins in network television are a lot smaller than they used to be, so they like to own their own show. So that got way too deep and political. The answer is that it happens sometimes, and it was politics, but it wasn't Epps' fault, and it wasn't the show's fault. People enjoyed the show, but we just got to keep going.
And the other show, the show that had dude from Saved by the Bell, Zach,
it's called Truth Be Told.
I felt like that
on
show
NBC.
was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
I think it was like a year or two too early.
You might be right. You know what I mean? It was definitely, it was kind of smart, witty. You know what I mean? It was
the whole
a little
race
bit
relations
different.
thing.
It did race relations. Yeah. I'll be back. That's the thing about it. That's the thing about producers. We just, we take a hit. We just got to get up and keep going. You got to keep swinging, no matter what. Everything's not going to work. And I've been very fortunate. I've had a lot that has worked more than most.
Right.
But everything doesn't work, and that just means you got to come back again.
You feel like you accomplished what you wanted to at Roots?
I did. I really, really did. And you know what the thing about Roots, Charlamagne, is that I'm hoping that will live beyond just like, Memorial Day weekend, summer 2016. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm hoping that, 10, 15, 20 years from now, when somebody, asks their parents, how did we get to America? Tell me the story of like, blacks in it, or there's some teacher that says, y'all need to understand the history of this country to a room full of white kids. They can put in Roots.
Yeah.
I feel very good about the job we did on that project.
No, that's great. I remember they used to make us watch Roots in school all the time.
Right.
And it's also the kind of show I feel like could come on, like how The Sound of Music comes on, or Gone with the Wind at certain times, and they'll have
Gone
it
with
come
the Wind
on.
used to come on all
Remember
the
that?
time.
I'd rather
Yeah.
watch the new one though, because it's in HD. I can't watch that old one though.
And see, what he's saying, what you're saying is the same reason,
Right.
one of the main reasons we remade Roots, because you can't show the old Roots to this generation.
Definitely cannot.
What? They'll throw something at you.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But this Roots, we get with it. You know what I mean? We bring it.
All right, well, we appreciate you joining us.
Yo, y'all
World
always have
power
me
couple.
come through. I appreciate
Can you give us a
y'all.
little bit of what direction Being Mary Jane is
Being
gonna
Mary
go in?
Jane, yo, so listen, she first of all, it's a new city. She's in New York now. So for all my Mary Jane fans out there, even those that aren't, Gab Union, she's back. She's now starting at the bottom. Okay, so she was in Atlanta and she was on air. She was doing her thing. Now she's moving to a new morning show. It's the equivalent of like a Good Morning America type show. And there's already another black woman who's on the anchor desk. And so that immediately creates some tension between her and that woman played by Valerie Pettiford. She's still doing her thing with the anonymous sex. You'll see a little something about that in episode 1. Michael Ealy comes in. I brought my man, Mike Ealy.
Lord.
He's on the show.
Don't hate, don't you hate, Charlamagne.
Light
Leave it
skin,
alone.
green eyes is coming in. Mike is coming in with an agenda and a secret.
The
That's
same
what I'ma
today,
say.
huh?
You
Come on,
know,
don't Tyler Perry us.
You know, it ain't quite that. You
Okay,
know what I'm
okay.
saying? But
Cardi B.
Cardi B is in it. Yeah,
Cardi B is
Cardi
in it. What's your
B.
relationship with Cardi B?
Is she a
Seems like you
regular
love
or
Cardi
she
B.
just-
She does a cameo. She
Okay,
does a
okay,
cameo.
okay.
She does a cameo, and what I would say is that the role she plays, when you see it, you go, oh, okay. You know what I mean? And so I appreciate Cardi B. Dave East comes out, does
yeah.
a cameo. We brought in Senator Cory Booker came in.
Okay.
So yeah, we dropped some some cameos. It's the first season under this new showrunner. You know what I mean? So she's getting her feet wet. Obviously, Gab's been doing it forever. Appreciate G for bringing me on the project. She and I got a bunch of stuff we're gonna continue to do together. But it's new. It's brand new, new season, new city, new situation. But it's the same Mary Jane.
Well, I'll be watching.
I appreciate y'all.
you joining us.
Absolutely.
This last question. If you don't watch Mary Jane, can you just jump right in?
Being Mary Jane.
Can you just jump right in?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yes,
All
you
right.
can. And tonight, because tonight is the
Last night.
I thought this was airing.
Tomorrow.
They told me to say tonight.
Tuesday. Tomorrow. It's Tuesday.
It airs
Okay,
Tuesday.
so I'm
What's
sorry.
the day?
Shout out to
Sorry,
London.
Professor.
What's
The director.
It's Tuesday, guys.
I'm trying to be on point.
people don't know, but guys,
He's doing his job.
So
Tonight.
So tonight is the president's farewell address, and that's at 9. So we actually are going. I got BET to re-air it, so they're airing it back to back.
Oh, okay.
So that you
Wow.
don't have to choose. You know what I mean? So you got Being Mary Jane at 9 and at 10.
Okay.
So watch one of them. So you can watch
Perfect.
the president at 9 if you want. Watch this at 10, and then you keep it
A
moving.
white producer would never. A white producer would say, "Go put me up against the president right now." Okay.
All right. It's the Breakfast Club. It's Will Packer.
The Breakfast Club. Every weekday morning. Tune in